Welcome to Ask GCN Anything. Ask us just about anything and we'll do our very best to answer it, stopping at nothing in pursuit of the truth. You might recall that we've even conducted live science experiments right here on this very desk. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer, just pop it underneath this video in the comments, or alternatively get in touch on Facebook or Twitter. I'm going to start with this question from 4v3, who asks, after how many miles should I wash my kit? Before I attempt to answer that one, I'm going to have to read out a few of your responses. Oliver Charles says, every 20 miles, even on a 100-mile ride. Akandran chipped in with, if you don't carry a washing machine on your rides, it's also fine just to pee in your kit. And Mr. Grumpy 53 responded with, at least once a year. That maybe isn't so helpful, and the truth is that I would wash my cycling shorts after every single ride, and I'd make a call on the other bits of kit as and when. We've got a video telling you exactly how you should take care of your precious cycling kit right here. Simon, take it away.
However, I'm going to guess that the washing machine is where most of us are going to clean our cycling kit. Now, before we actually put anything in there though, there are a couple of things that you need to do. Firstly, close all zips and Velcro closures on your kit. Now, something like that Velcro can play absolute havoc with Lycra when tumbling around in a washing machine. Also, while we're here, make sure that you turn your clothing inside out, and that'll help to protect any logos that have been printed on and keep it looking fresher for longer.
Next up, we've got a really good question from Callum Spencer, who asks, what should I do to recover after a ride? For example, what should I eat? Should I eat differently if I've bonked? Resting, Callum, is probably the most important thing to do, and it's actually really difficult to fit in your day-to-day life, especially if you're working or if you're at school or college or something like that. But nutrition is something that you can control really easily, and this is Simon and Matt's guide to the ultimate nutrition strategy for recovery.
So it's important that you restore those levels in your stores, otherwise it could dramatically affect your ability to train on subsequent days.
Yeah, and also, don't forget as well, that your immune system takes a hit when you train, and therefore, to make sure that is functioning as well as it possibly can do, then you need to keep on top of your carbohydrate intake for that as well. Otherwise, you could end up picking up those pesky illnesses, and that could derail your plans.
Quickfire round now, and first up we've got this one from Alistair Howells, who asks, as I cycle more, I've got pretty lean. Good. But the veins in my calf are getting prominent. Bad. Is there anything that can be done to avoid the veiny leg look that you see some cyclists get? No way, Alistair, you've got to go with it. Veiny legs are the envy of hardcore poser cyclists everywhere, worldwide. If you look ripped, you look fast, you look lean. And, you know, the best part about veiny legs is that you look fast even when you're sat down at the cafe. Win-win. Next up, Amanda McBride asks, how often should I change my chain, and is it different for triathletes? You should change your chain at regular intervals just according to how worn the chain is, and this definitely isn't any different for triathletes. A worn chain is a worn chain, whatever bike it's on. There are a couple of ways you can check the chain for wear. One of them is using a chain wear indicator tool, and the other one is to put the chain on the big ring and pull it away. The further you can get your chain away from the chain ring, the more worn it is and the sooner you should replace it. Mino asks a really interesting question, actually, one that is a source of a lot of debate. What do you guys think of Chinese carbon frames? Are they reliable? Yes, they are. Many of the biggest and most well-known brands have Chinese carbon fibre frames. They just have brand names that you know very well, American or European brands. I'm presuming that you're asking about unbranded carbon frames that you might see on eBay or something like that. And the answer to that is you just don't know how reliable they are. Some people use them and they're fine with them. Other people use them and have horrific issues. Personally, I just wouldn't take the risk, but it is a gamble. And like I said, some people are fine, some people aren't. Next up, I really like this question from Callum Keane, who asks, I'm 20 at university, and in the last year I've really kicked on in terms of my performance, riding with much better riders at the University Cycling Club here. Am I too late to the party to move through the racing categories and joining teams? What would you suggest? He hasn't raced before or competed. The answer is, Callum, absolutely not. Many pros are late to the party. Michael Woods, who currently rides for Cannondale, didn't start cycling until slightly later on. 20 definitely isn't too late. Get racing, get stuck in. GT Kim asks, do expensive brake and gear cables make a big difference? I'm not 100% on that. Good brake and gear cables make a difference. They're not necessarily always that expensive, and new, fresh brake and gear cables make a huge difference. They are absolutely the best. You just can't beat them. Compressionless housing and stuff like that on the more expensive brake cables, that works well. There's some benefits there. But personally, as cables are something that I have to replace quite regularly riding here in the UK where we get rain year round, it's not something that I like to break the bank on. It's something that instead of buying the absolute top of the range, I like to buy something that I know I can replace regularly, so I get that great new cable feel. We've got a nutrition question now from Zach, who asks, have you guys ever heard of riders getting upset stomachs after a good hard ride? If so, what are some ways to avoid that from happening? And why is this happening? Yes, I've heard of it a lot actually, Zach, and I've personally experienced it too. I thought that it would be a good idea to ask our nutrition partners, Science and Sport, as this is their area of expertise. So this is what their senior sports nutritionist, Emma Burakov, had to say. It's difficult to say for definite, but if it has been a long, intense ride, especially in the heat, it's likely to do with the redistribution of blood flow during the ride. Blood flow is redistributed from your gut to preserve more for the working muscles, heart and lungs. This will often affect your appetite as you feel like you don't want to stomach food even after you've stopped riding. I'd suggest that it could also be, if it's been a long ride, to do with all the gels and energy drinks and stuff like that you've eaten during the ride. So I'd suggest that you choose wisely when it comes to that too. Chris Brunskill asks, which indoor bike trainer provides the most realistic resistance? Funnily enough, Chris, it's probably the cheapest ones, so the wind trainers. That's because as you pedal harder, they generate more wind resistance, much like happens out on the road. They do have their downsides though. They are very loud and they're non-adjustable. Check out this video where we go through all of the indoor training options so you can assess them and make your choice.
Yeah, and the first option is to convert your current bike into a static bike. This is the easiest and cheapest way of riding indoors. Generally called a turbo trainer, this one is a bit of a classic, and it works by raising your back wheel off the ground, and resistance is applied to the back wheel just down here by this fan and flywheel, meaning you can go as hard as you can, as fast as you can, within the comfort of your own home. Now, the faster the back wheel goes, the greater the resistance.
Finally, here is a very good one. It's from Jace Crow, who asks, what is the most viewed GCN video? No, I know what you're thinking. It isn't the first GCN show I was ever in. The answer, Jason, is this one. The incredible, the inimitable Martin Ashton. I think this is my favourite bit.
So she gets you on your own, so she can make you make mistakes, then you can offer to take her home. And it's not like I don't miss it none, but the quicker arriving morning.
I absolutely love that video. Right, thank you for all your questions this week, and apologies if we didn't get to answer yours. Do keep them coming in the comments down below though. Imagine what this show would be like without you. Yeah, pretty crap. Keep the comments, keep the questions coming in down below. Anyway, for more GCN content, we've been at the Giro d'Italia and we filmed some awesome videos. Check them out there. To see a video where we explain all the different bottom bracket standards, which is a very confusing subject, click there. And to subscribe to our channel, click here. Or check out our store too.